So we use variables to store information so that we have access to it and we can do things with them. And variables are handled by our JavaScript, so we put them in our script tag. So for example, you may be interested in keeping track of some type of username that some person has created on your website, such as this, Bob123. So this would allow me to access this data through my variable username. Do I know what the username of my person on the website is going to use? No, of course I don't. So this type of variable declaration or initialization is good in some aspects, but in some terms, we want the user to tell us what the data is going to be. I don't know what the username of that person is going to be. I need them to tell me what their username is. So we have to get some type of user input from the user. And the easiest way to do that is to use the lovely window.prompt method. So this time I'm creating a variable username, except I'm not setting it equal to some value. What I'm actually setting it equal is to this method that's going to get me a value. So if I launch my website right now, this window pops up. And in this window is a place, a text box where the user can type a bunch of stuff. Whatever the user types in here will be assigned to the value of this variable. So this variable will actually hold all of this data for me, and it gets it from the user. Now this is poor web design. For example, this doesn't say anything like, I don't know if I'm the user on this website, like I don't know what to do. So what you pretty much almost always do is accompany this method with some text. So you could say, please enter your username. Then if I do that, I get this text that tells the user to put in their or to enter their username. So the user types in their username, they press OK. And once they've done that, I now am storing their username inside this variable. So if you miss that, I put in Bob123 for my username. So Bob123 is being stored in this variable. And if you don't believe me, we can always use our lovely console to debug things. And I can find the value that I'm being stored in this variable right here. And if I do that, Control-Shift-J, the console spits out the value of that variable, which was indeed Bob123. So you can see that this variable is storing the input of my website's user. Now there's one other thing I want to show you in this video, since I don't think this is too difficult to understand, is the console's great for letting us know, but eventually we're going to want to update our website as well so that our user can see these things too. So what you could do is you could use this lovely method called document.write. And document.write lets you, within JavaScript, put text on your website. So I'm just going to get rid of that for a second. So document.write will let me, I can put text on my website with this method. That's all it takes. And you can see that that text actually shows up on the website. So it's not part of the console anymore. It's actually a method that, you know, makes your website interactive. It lets everyone see that text. So what you could also do is you could combine that method with the username you just received from the user. So for example, I could write some text. I could say the username you entered is, much like I would with a console log statement that we've done before. And then I could add on, I could concatenate that variable. So on my website, I will see this text, plus I will see the value of this variable. And this variable's value is going to be whatever the user has entered in that prompt. So let's see how this works. Let's make sure it's all good here. So if I go Bob123 and press OK, I can see the text, the username you entered is, right, word for word, letter for letter. And then I can see the value of this variable. And this is great because you can type in whatever you want and it's always going to update. That's the beauty of variables. We call them variable because they're usually changing values and stuff like that. So there you go. There is the easiest way to get input from a user and to store it in a variable for later use within your website.